Oromo Voice Radio English program. Oromo Voice Radio is broadcasting to Oromia at 16-meter band or 17,850 kilohertz or on oromovoice.org website. OVR broadcasts Oromia Insight program every Monday for 15 minutes at 7:15 p.m. Oromia local time. Welcome to Oromia Insight program.
Welcome to Oromia Insight. My name is Ali Galeto. Our guest today is Eferta Obsa from New York. There is a rally in New York in front of United Nations about Oromo protest. Welcome, Eferta.
Thank you.
What is this rally about?
Well, this rally is about pretty much the Oromo protests that are happening back home as a result of the Addis Ababa master plan, but also more about the general marginalization of the Oromo people in the economic and political spheres of influence. What we were trying to communicate was the fact that there was an ongoing injustice in Ethiopia that's being done against the Oromo people that pretty much kind of boiled over as a result of this Addis Ababa master plan that is trying to pretty much take over Oromo land by forced eviction.
How many people turn up to the rally?
I would say, as a conservative estimate, I would say about 200 to 250 people, but I'm pretty sure others would say that there were more.
So what people actually saying? What do you have when you actually do the rally? What is your message? What you've been saying?
Well, a lot of our chants had to do with communicating the fact that the Ethiopian regime was torturing and murdering young kids that had legitimate concerns that need to be heard out loud by the government. And we were also chanting things such as Oromia is not for sale, and also trying to communicate the many injustices being committed against Oromo students in Ethiopia currently.
So why are you doing this rally?
Well, I feel like it is my civic duty as an Oromo person and as a person that is in a place where I can get my voice heard. A lot of Oromo kids in Ethiopia currently in school are being silenced for raising legitimate questions and trying to air their concerns in a civilized manner. And so I believe that it's my duty as a person that's living in a country where I can communicate my concerns out loud to take up their concerns and also communicate it to the world.
So is there any response? Who you actually, do you talk to any authority or anyone who actually you target?
For me, as an attendant, I wasn't responsible for talking to any person of authority from the United Nations. What I did get to speak to was a group of people that were model UN students that came. We were handing out flyers. We were communicating to students that came for a program at the United Nations and to their professors as well. And we were communicating to them, comparing our Oromo struggle and what's going on in Ethiopia as a result of the Addis Ababa Master Plan, and providing a comparison akin to what's going on, what happened to West Bank and Gaza, and trying to provide kind of like a comparison that illustrated what's going on in Oromia currently.
Well, what do you think will come out of this kind of demonstration?
Well, I believe that this kind of demonstration mainly communicates to our brothers and sisters back home that we do hear them, we understand their concerns, and that we stand with them. I also believe that this is only one of the ways that we could voice our concerns here in the United States or anywhere in the world. Actually, our community here, in addition to doing these demonstrations and protests in such places as the United Nations and the United States State Department, we are also trying to communicate our concerns with our representatives in Congress and in the Senate. I know a lot of religious leaders are also trying to do that and meeting with their senators and congresspeople one-to-one and communicating to them what is going on in Ethiopia and what the aid money that the United States sends over to Ethiopia is actually getting accomplished.
The people are just from New York, or they actually come from other states as well?
Well, I came from Washington, D.C. There was 6 buses full of people that came from Washington, D.C. I know there are other people that came from places such as Pennsylvania, also nearby Ohio, I believe, and also people from New York as well. So it's kind of like an East Coast gathering of Oromos at the United Nations headquarters.
So it must be very chilly, cold there in New York, or is it how was the weather?
It was actually frigid. It was just frigid cold, but everybody showed up. Everybody was bundled up, and everybody was ready to go, fired up. We had our cups of coffee, but we were just ready to, air out the concerns. This is the least we can do. Temperature, weather is nothing. Our brothers and sisters are dying back home to preserve their rights and to preserve the land that we call home. This is the least we can do.
So you mentioned that you actually people's actually distributing leaflet, pamphlet. How many is it? Did you distribute a lot of pamphlets, or what that pamphlet actually contain?
First and foremost, I think what's important is that it had our hashtag Oromo Protest, which is kind of like the gateway to many venues, like social media venues, as well as websites that will be able to further communicate what's going on in Ethiopia. Also, we also had other things such as, addresses, kind of like highlights of what the Oromo struggle is about and what the Addis Ababa Master Plan was about on the pamphlet. And I think we passed out several hundred copies because we had a lot of passers-by that worked in the UN, as well as passers-by that are, New Yorkers or students or professors.
So what's the mood like among the protesters?
The mood is very collaborative. We're very encouraged. I'm sure that when we go home, we will, continue the struggle with refreshed and renewed hearts. It's very encouraged and very friendly atmosphere.
So this kind of rally is scheduled for other time or just one-off?
Well, there were other rallies that happened in Washington, D.C., at the White House, at the State Department. There have been several protests that were organized by the Oromo community and also by political organizations. I think the turnout to all of them was tremendous, and a lot of things were communicated to our politicians and our statesmen. We also, as I mentioned earlier, in addition to protesting, do make an effort to communicate to our representatives as a voting bloc, because we want to influence the policy decisions that our representatives make when it affects when it affects the funding that is going to go to Ethiopia.
So the message coming from the State Department saying the Ethiopians should actually have a meaningful dialogue. Is it enough for what's happening?
Honestly, I don't think it's enough. I think there needs to be more than just dialogue happening. I think that we need action to happen, but I think this is a good place to start, where we're getting our voices heard and we're getting, the issues to be back on the table and not just discarded. So I think this is a great start, but I definitely don't think this is the ultimate result that we are looking for.
So they're actually saying that the master plan is stopped. Do you have any comment on that?
Again, as I mentioned earlier, I think that the master plan is just one thing that, one method of trying to do the land grabbing and evicting Oromo farmers, and just only one method of trying to enact that. And just because the master plan as a plan was canceled doesn't mean the mentality of the governing regime has changed. It also doesn't mean that they are not, effectively evicting Oromo farmers as we speak. It just means that that plan was scrapped. And so I think the struggle should continue, and I think the underlying issue of Oromo marginalization in the economic and political sphere is also still there, and I think that should be addressed as well.
Is there any media in your rally?
There were, I believe, a couple of Ethiopian media personnel over there. In addition, we also had media from the UN photographers, UN videographers that were there recording the event as well.
Well, is there other things apart from rally in your area that the Oromos are doing? Like in London, they actually went out to stay there for 3 nights, protesting.
Yes. So in addition to rallies, we've also held candlelight vigils. We've also had our respective Oromo communities carry out a petition signing event where, anyone can show up in a certain amount of time and sign petitions to be sent to our local senators and representatives. We held events to do that. We also, I believe, are holding fundraisers to raise funds for to contribute to the struggle back home.
It's really nice to have you, Eferta Obse, from New York about Oromo Rally in New York. Thank you very much for taking your time and speak to Oromia Inside.
Likewise, my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's an all that Peter is gold. After story had never been told. So now you see the light. Hey, stand up for your right. Come on, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Get up, stand up. Stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Most people think great God will come from the sky, take away everything and make everybody feel high. But if you know what life is worth, you will look for yours on your earth. And now you see